2. So we're going to get started because we love to honor people's time. So Brady had a great question. And he said, what is a GPS? So I'm going to play, I'm going to turn it back on you, Brady. When you think of a GPS, what comes to mind?
Well, two things. There was a perpetual marketing. I was going to say push, but there was continuous marketing of what was called GPS a couple of years ago to get your listings. International buyers were buying X percent, and so it was another service you could spend money on. I kind of was actually thinking the other day, whatever happened to that.
Okay.
And of course, the other GPS is how you get around town.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember the first time I heard about GPS, I'm like, that's in my car. Right. So it's the same. What it is the same principle here. It's GPS stands for goals, priorities, and strategies. So, and I'm going to share my screen and show you what that sheet looks like. So here's the thing, Brady. Every year in October is when we do business planning, right? Most people do it in December when they're chilling out at home. Every year you set a big goal for the next year, right? And you set the goal, and it might be in a book, it might be in your head, it might just be somewhere, right? Some people will put it on a vision board. Some people will put it in a book, and then they close the book. So the GPS is your goals. What is your one big goal for the upcoming year? And then we're going to break down what are the priorities we have to do in order to hit that goal. So the problem with having is a GPS, like I said, it's just in a book. You set it with your coach if you have a coach, and then you leave off somewhere, and you hardly look at it again. So the problem we find with having the GPS is that people don't have a relationship with the GPS. So let's bring it into everyday living, right? Let's say we're starting a new relationship. We're dating, right? Janice, we're dating. And you go out on that first date and you're all excited because he's the one or she's the one. And then you go home and you start thinking about all the ways that you're gonna move this relationship forward, right? And so you put a lot of energy into the relationship. So we want to put a lot of energy into our business. And so I want to share my screen and show you what we use to build a one-page GPS. And I'm going to explain what that is. And hopefully I can find mine. Let's go here. And if I go here, all right, can you guys see that? Let me move this up. Okay. So it says at the top, your GPS is just like your car system, and you're going to use this to navigate your real estate journey, right? So you're going to use the GPS to plot what does the next year look like? What do I want to achieve in my business and in my life? And so the G is for your goal, right? So you want to identify your annual goal, and it could be anything. It could be transactional driven, or it could be profit driven. Does that make sense? So let me see a show of hands, or yes, because it's a few of us. If you've sat with your coach and you've done a GPS before.
I have.
You have. All right. Now, if you've not done a GPS, and I don't think, Brady, you have you done a business plan before?
Janice has one.
Not formally, no.
Well,
Oh,
actually, Janice has part of one. Janice has, at least she knows how many appointments she needs, how many, but we haven't talked about the strategies and stuff like that as far as driving out the GPS.
all right, and that's perfect. And so let's say you say, all right, Janice, you have one, Brenda, you have one, Brady, you kind of have one. So let's say you know that you want to do, what would be your goal be as far as closings this year? And anybody can chime in.
In 2020, when you say this year?
In 2020, yeah.
6 would be fantastic.
All right, so you want to have 6 at what price point?
600 plus.
Okay, so 6 transactions at 600 plus. And ideally, what profit would you like to have?
Define profit, what do you mean?
After you pay the office fees, after you do all of the marketing, after you pay your taxes, what is left for you, for Brady? That would be your profit.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it doesn't have to be that detailed. It helps some people to be that detailed. So that would go right here. Okay, my goal is 6 transactions at $600,000. Brenda, what would yours be? Would it be a volume goal or would it be a money goal? You're on mute, honey. Let me close my door. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I said mine was a volume goal.
Okay, all right. So that would be here. And Janice, I think Janice left. Anyway, so all right. So here's what we've found. We've got great tools at KW, and we found that the GPS is an undervalued tool, right? Because this call, we should have more people than this because this is a business planning call, right? We should have a lot of people on this call. So who needs a GPS?
Everyone.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So the purpose of this Zoom call is to explain what it is, right? By the time you get off this call, Brady, you should understand what is a GPS, why we should have a GPS, and you're going to understand how to put together GPS. Okay?
Sure. I hate to ask it. Is this a half hour? What is the time for this, Arthur?
Well, we have an hour blocked out. I'm going to run through it though in a half an hour, and then I'm going to open it up for whatever questions you guys might have. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, because that's probably about the most that I have.
Okay, great.
I was going to say, I may have to get off because I didn't really know what this was about, but I want to check in and see what it was concerning because I'm pretty comfortable with the GPS. I do have it and working on those goals and know how to break it down. So I've been working on those strategies of what it would take for me to have like two appointments that I'm setting a goal for that week. I want to have 2 listing appointments or buyer appointments. And my strategies was to definitely be consistent in making my calls and reaching out to my sphere. And normally I would do a coffee date or during those 2 things about the situation we're in. I'm not comfortable yet doing the door knocking for that just yet. Mm-hmm. But those are things, and then I'm doing some lead generating on social media.
All right, so here's the thing, Brenda. When you get really good at doing your GPS, it is very specific, it's very focused, right? Because could you hit all of your numbers and all of your goal at the end of the year and still fail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do goal setting to the now when you use your GPS, and we're also gonna future pace you. Okay? Yes?
All right.
All right, so for right now, we're gonna use this for 1 year. It could be 1 year, 3 year, or 5 year goal. So the one big goal is, let's say it's 24 transactions. So your priority is, you're gonna identify 3 priorities. A priority is an interim goal that is measurable and is not grounded in a single action, meaning that so many things must happen for the priority to be accomplished. So once you have your big goal, what you're gonna do, you're gonna start throwing priorities on a piece of paper. And you're gonna put your number 1 priority as your number 1 priority. Does that make sense? So if I say, okay, I'm gonna have a $250,000 a year, and they start coming up with all the things that agents come up with. Okay, I'm gonna do some expireds over here. I'm gonna do FISBAs over here. I'm gonna do my database over here. Then I'm gonna do some events over here, and I'm all over the place. What is that one priority that you could set that's priority number 1, that when you focus on that and you knock that domino down, you wouldn't really need priority number 2 or number 3. See how that makes sense? That the number 1 priority should be the number 1 priority. So what is your one thing that you focused on this year that, should you do that one thing and focus on it and master that system, that you would need to do priority number 2 or priority number 3? I'm gonna ask Brenda, and then I'm gonna go to Brady.
Lead generate.
Well, what does that mean?
And that is where I choose how I'm going to lead generate, whether it's going to be me calling expireds and FISBOs.
Okay, so let's roll it back, because we know in this business you have to lead generate. So lead generation is expireds, it's FISBAs, it's open houses. So your priority has to be specific, measurable. You know what SMART, do you know what SMART goals are?
Yes.
Okay, so SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. So your priority can't be, I'm gonna lead generate, because everybody says that. So priority number 1 is, what am I doing?
Calling expireds.
I'm calling expireds. Okay, fantastic. So now that is the priority. Does that make sense to you, Brady?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your priority number 1 would be right here, right? And then usually if you're running a big team, or you have an assistant.
And you can do it. Because all you have to do is select all the flags, and that's it.
Sorry. If you have an assistant, right? It would be who and by when. So, okay, so if you're calling expired, and Brady, what is your number 1 priority for closing 6 deals at 600,000?
I'd have to be connecting with people, either in person or making phone calls.
All right, so put that in, what would that look like?
Making phone calls.
Okay, so are you making phone calls to your sphere of influence, your past clients? What are you doing?
Neighborhoods.
Okay, so are you farming a specific neighborhood?
Multiple ones, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So it sounds to me, and you can correct me, that your priority would be farming / circle prospecting neighborhoods. Either farming or circle prospecting. So let me ask you, if we're going with farming, Brady, are you just calling, or are you sending out postcards?
I did both.
You're doing both. Okay, so that sounds like it's a farm. And how long have you been doing that?
Since 27. Well, I mean, the mailing has been since 2017.
Okay, great. So your priority is farming, and then strategy number one would be mailers. Okay. And who's sending out those mailers for you? Are you paying someone? And then by when are they going out?
Well, I create the the newsletter, call it a newsletter, and I pay somebody to print them
Okay.
and mail them.
Okay.
And
So, all right.
It goes out every quarter.
Absolutely. So that's how you get really specific, right? Sending out newsletters, and they go out every quarter. And you could even be more specific in drilling down the dates that they go out, right? The end of, so April, January, February, March. So they're gonna go out March, and I'm just gonna throw out a date. They're gonna go out March 15th.
Actually, it'd be April 15th.
Or, okay, April 15th, and so on and so on. So we know that's a strategy that you're running. What about you, Brenda? You're calling expires. Where are you getting the expired list from? You gotta unmute yourself. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm actually using Mojo expires, and also I do go to FMLS and utilize their system when I see the expires there, and I may go over to the next Remind system, because it actually can give you phone numbers as well for those homeowners, and I just make sure I check that they're not on the do not call list. So I'm utilizing that to make
All
calls.
right. So that strategy would be, okay, I'm gonna get these phone numbers from this place, right? Now, when am I getting those phone numbers? Am I gonna get phone numbers at night and be ready in the morning to go? Or am I gonna have a time set aside every morning, let's say from 8 to 9 or from 7 to 8 or whatever? That's part of this strategy that would go in here,
Right.
right?
So, because with Mojo, it has the automatic dialer, so it's gonna do it automatically that day. However, with Remind, I do research at night and have a list of calls to make the next day.
Okay, great. So all of that goes into your strategy, right? Because the more specific you can make it, the chances are that you will achieve your goal. So let's say you've gone through, you set your goal, your priority is farming, your priority is expired, and you've got all of your strategies in place. Now, what's your second priority gonna be?
Don't need one because we're doing the first one.
Ah, yes. And because you're an experienced agent, that is the perfect answer. Because what we found, like I said, people, they don't spend time here mastering, right? They run here and they run here because somebody told them that they need 3 priorities in order to have a big business. But like Brady is saying, if you're doing this, the first priority at a high level, is that enough to get to your goal?
Yes.
Right, and it is. And once you're mastering your priority number 1, you're spending your time here and you're doing your 20%. That gives you your 80%. Should you earn the right to go to priority number 2, then you sure can. Because isn't it possible, Brenda, that after you've gotten all of these people up here, you would want to have events for them throughout the year, like little mini events, and then maybe at the end of the year, you can have a big pie giveaway where they come to your office to pick up a pie, or they come to a pie shop and they meet you there, right? So once this is running at a really, really, really high level and is achieving all your goals up here, is able to knock over this goal, then of course you've earned the right to go to priority number 2, which just looking at what your business would look like when you knock this over, it would be, okay, let me do client appreciation things. And I know from your business that you do some client appreciation things, that you do some pop buys. What about you, Brady? How do you reward your clients?
How do I reward them?
Yeah.
After a closing?
Yes.
I simply touch base with them on a occasional basis.
All right. So
Phone call.
do you have a strategy in place, or do you have a follow-up system in place where you're touching base with them maybe 4 or 5 times a year so you get that referral business?
Yeah, I like to play golf occasionally. I'll play golf with them.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so that could absolutely be part of your business plan, right? Your follow-up system could be a social one.
Right.
And you have a strategy where you're making sure you're in front of your clients and you're being their realtor for life, their advisor for life. And you're in front of them, you have them on, like you said, you have them on a newsletter, you're playing golf with them. Do you have any questions? Mustafa, you came on late. So do you have any questions regarding the GPS? And you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, hey, Autherine, this is actually Sharika. I didn't realize I was under my son's name.
Oh, yes. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Already I'm motivated to get on my lead generation calls for the day. So good to hear everybody and see how everybody's motivated. I just sent out just listed and just sold cards in 2 neighborhoods.
Yeah.
However, I've never done farming before. It's never been my thing. And I've heard that you have to do 18 months of it. So it occurred to me that, you know, the just listed might be good, but the just sold, I would have to do 18 months of it to see any referral from it. And it hasn't been one of my priorities. My priorities have always been open houses or sphere of influence is what's always worked for me.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna make my goal today and schedule to keep on that.
So let me ask you something, Sharika. Between your sphere of influence and your open houses, have those 2 helped you achieve your goals?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you've earned the right to do a number 3.
I guess so.
All right, because here's the thing, the path to getting more is not by doing more, right? It's about doing more of what really matters. It's about doing more of what's working for you. Like you heard Brady say, I just do farming because gosh darn it, that works for him, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think I'm up to priority number 3 yet. I still have to master sphere of influence and open houses more. And because I haven't maxed it out, I know that I haven't done like 2 letters a week from what I learned in Bold. So I haven't gone through my phone book to say that I've, you know, have a system really clearly set up yet for the sphere of influence to do follow up and be in touch with them. So I know I have to focus more energy on that this year with command and setting that up and newsletters to be in touch with the sphere and a system. So I definitely have not maxed out the dollar potential and profit within my sphere yet.
Great, great. And see, doing a GPS helps to give us clarity, right? so we understand where we should be doing more,
Right.
right? And just be
Absolutely.
laser focused on the things that are working for us,
Right. Absolutely.
right? So you master your number one and your number two, which is working right now, because that's the gift of thinking bigger. Thinking bigger doesn't mean that you run around and do more. It means that you sit long enough to look at what you're doing. And like you're saying, I haven't even built out a system for what it looks like to mine, and mine, to mine my data bank, right? So this will help you. And I've got blank forms if you guys need a copy of it, to just sit with it and build it out. And I'm gonna put you on mute because we're getting a lot of feedback on this end. So do you guys have any questions for me? I just want to stop for a minute so I can answer a few questions.
No, sounds clear.
Okay, all right. So this, of course, has to be on your calendar. And the next piece of it would be a 411, which your GPS just transfers to a 411, and that's an upcoming class. I just want to touch on, what does your year look like so far? We're almost at the mid-year where we need to do a mid-year review. So of course, most people are gonna have to readjust their GPS. So talk to me a little bit about what your mid-year review is gonna look like. Have you guys achieved all of your goals for 6 months up to this point?
That's pretty dreadful.
No.
Yes, yeah. So what is it gonna take for you to fill in the gap? Because I'm sure we all know what our gaps are.
That's one.
Have to do more.
My priority number 2 has always been my open houses, which I have chosen to pick up starting this weekend, just to get back out there and get a feel of things and see if that traffic is starting to improve. As we know, most have been, sitting it out and doing virtual open houses, which is still an opportunity. But since I'm a more face-to-face person,
Yeah,
I have decided to let me give it a try and see what my weekend would look like
yeah.
with traffic.
And I guess it depends on the price point, because I took my clients about a month ago now, to an open house, and that thing was unreal.
Yeah, I'm sure the price point would matter.
Yeah, it was maybe 250-ish, and pretty house. So yes, it has opened up. You just have to, of course, be safe.
Right.
All right, so how will you double what you've lacked, right? So whatever your gap is, how are you going to make sure you make up that gap and then be on the right track? And then what will that new GPS looks like in order to support where you are now and where you want to go? And then of course, everything has to be time bound. So what does your schedule look like? Does everybody have a schedule that you work by? Talk to me.
I do not.
I'm working on mine.
You're working on yours.
I'm making it because you're having us send that to you, which is great. I'm working on following it, as is evidenced by me being late to this meeting. So I'm working on it. I apologize. So I'm just trying to discipline myself to follow what I'm putting down.
Okay, because here's the thing. It's not that your goals have changed, is that you've got to reevaluate what your activities are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, just reevaluate what your activities are, because you can absolutely have hit all your goals that you've set up for yourself and then fail, even though you've hit all your goals. So who is committed to redoing their GPS?
I definitely need to redo mine.
Mine.
Okay, yeah. And Brady, you've never done one, so I can help you with one, and we can do a Zoom call. What about you, Sharika? Did you have a GPS for 2020?
I did, but I haven't looked at it since I made one. And
Yeah.
then COVID threw me off just a little bit. And so I need to go back and refer to the GPS that I'm pretty sure I made while I was in both.
Okay, yeah. So let's commit to, you see this by when? Let's commit to by the end of this week. Today is Monday. By Friday, just taking a look at your GPS, look at your numbers so far for the year, and create a new GPS. There's some things you can do more frequently that's working for you, and put them on your GPS. And Sharika, when you do your GPS, it shouldn't be stuck in a book anywhere. It should be out in front where you can see it every day.
That's true.
The next tool that we use to support our GPS is our 411. And I am gonna show you mine, what it looks like real quick. So you just transfer your yearly goal to your 411. Let me see where that is. Stop share. All right. Let me go over here. I think that is it. Hold on. GPS and 411. Okay. All right. So this, what year is this? This looks like 2019. So on the 411, let's say, what did you have, Brenda, for your big G? Your goals was?
My GCI
Yeah.
goal.
Your GCI goal was?
170, I think.
170. Okay. So you would take that off of your GPS, and Brady, you would do the same thing, because 411 equals a year, a month, and how you break it down in 4-week increments to hit your big goal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're just transferring what your huge, big, hairy goal is from your GPS, and you're breaking it down by month and by week. So what I like about doing a 411 though, is that you have personal goals and you have business goals, because what we found out is the personal will drive that, your business goal, right? So in order for me to buy a new house in December, which I did, I have to have profit of $150,000, which means that would have looked like 28 transactions, and that would have been 240,000 in GCI. Understand how it works? Where you go really, really specific. Any questions on that?
No, thanks. And I'm sorry, I got to run.
Yes.
But, appreciate the time.
Sure. And you've got my number, Brady. You can call me. Thanks for coming. All right. So this is the annual goal. Yeah. And then here's my monthly goals. All right. In order for me to hit this, I've got to take 3 listings this month. And so on the weekly, you would break it down, right? I'm gonna go on a listing presentation every week, depending on what your conversion ratio is. If you're at 50% conversion ratio, how many listings would you have, listing appointments would you have to go on to get 3? So if you're to take, yes, Brenda?
Oh, go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, so if your goal is to take 3 listings in a month and your conversion ratio is 50%, it just means that you gotta go on 6 because you're taking half of them until you get better at closing or at your presentation. Because a lot of people have a great presentation and then they never ask for the business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Okay, good. And then let's say part of my my plan for that month was to do an event, and this says event number 2, right? Which means event number 1, because if you looked at my GPS, my top priority is my sphere of influence. So, and one of the things that I do to be face to face with my sphere of influence is to do events, do mini events or big events. So the shred purge is a big event. So that's on here. And then you just break it down weekly. So everything that you do in your business, it has to be time bound. And that's what we talked about right up front, about having a relationship with your schedule and having a relationship with your business plan. And I would even go as far as not only does it have to be time bound, it has to be visible. And it has to be a one-pager where, let's say Brenda wants to go on vacation, she can hand me her 411 and say, I'm going on a month's vacation, run with this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It has to be extremely specific to the creator, so you can hand it off to somebody and say, here. Yeah, of course, you're gonna hand it off to somebody who knows what they're doing. You can hand it off and say, this is what my 411 looks like for the week. Can you go ahead and take care of that? All right. Any questions?
Got it. I'll be redoing mine.
Okay. Yeah, just bring some clarity around it. And when you do it, just sit with it. And if you have to rewrite it, rewrite it. And the thing you're working on is going to be the priorities, because you want to make sure that those priorities, you are actually passionate about it and you're actually going to execute it. Because I know that I'm never going to be a Paige Morgan who her priority number 1 is farming, right? My priority number 1 is my sphere of influence. So farming won't be on mine. So you have to make sure whatever you put on your GPS for the next half of this year, that you're absolutely committed with and execute at a high level because it's been working for you. More questions? Observations?
How often? So we're looking at our 411 obviously every week. And so we need to be looking at both the GPS and that on a regular basis then. I also did my GPS and stuck it away and
no.
It again.
Right, yeah, you've got to look at the GPS because and the reason why you want to look at your GPS, let's say one of your priorities, like Brenda said, Brenda loves to do open houses, right? And if under your GPS, your open houses, you're going to do 5 or 6 open houses a month, and you're in the second week and you're like, oh, I haven't done an open house. Or Sharika's one of her priority is her sphere of influence, right? Let's say we're at 15 and Sharika hasn't touched them. She hasn't talked to them. She hasn't with them. She hasn't done anything. But Sharika has been over here claiming, yeah, that's why you have to, yes, because how do you know where you're going if you have it stuck away somewhere? Does that make sense to you, Liz?
It does. Yes. You were kind of breaking up, but I
Yeah.
got basics. Yes, that does make sense.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry if I'm breaking up. Yeah, so you have pull your GPS out, keep it on your desk. When you're doing your 411 for the month, your GPS should be right there. Because remember, you're just transferring from your GPS to your 411.
Okay.
Okay,
That makes sense.
all right. Anything else?
No, I think that's good. You got us rethinking it now.
Okay, see, was it worth staying on, Brenda?
Yes, ma'am. It's always worth staying on. You always hear something different or something explained a little bit clearer, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And Liz, just to clarify, just remember your 411 is where you really drill down
Right.
from your GPS. So
Right.
that's why you want to have your GPS out, so you know exactly what you're drilling down on.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you say we're getting clean copies, or I may have that somewhere from before?
Yeah, I have a copy.
Oh, for the GPS, do you need a copy of it?
I mean, I can look first and see. I'm sure I have it somewhere, a blank, but
Okay.
if I don't, I'll let you know.
Okay, cool. Everybody good? Well, I thank you guys. If we have no more questions, then c'est la vie. Have a great day. And I would love to see that new GPS.
I know, I must have it ready before Wednesday.
I have till 1:30.
All right, cool. No, actually, Liz, you can send that to me on Friday also.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I wouldn't just throw it out at you because you know what, you need to sit and think it through. So I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, Sharika. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Audrey.
We'll talk
Thank you.
soon.
Bye.
All right,
Talk to
bye.
you soon. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
I had to call, report you because you were sitting too close to Michelle's point at me, so I had to call and report you. It's not about you, it's like a very conversation with Sharon. It's like, so, what do you want to do for yours? I want to run to it, and I said, I know, I said, Shannon, I don't want this to be good because you don't value the same activity as the same results. I said, you want to be
He could.
I said, so right now, we're taking 6 months and not 3 years.
KPA. I would love to see what his KPA looks like. Yeah. Because Gary's like, you should be doing that with the people. KPA.
It's almost, it was 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I ask you a question. My sister, I love to have Angela call Shannon because Angela's cheaper. Or is that a good thing?
Oh, it's a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
That's a very good thing. She's not going to be as dramatic
You're being an idiot.
Yes. Yeah. But call him and tell him that you want to send him KPA because you want, it's a, tell him what it is, because you want to see, you want to future pace him and see where he fits into this company. That little one. Oh, you know, that car. Yeah, yeah.
I think I recall you. You lost your mind.
Yeah, you
You
lost.
lost your mind.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Why is that? I'll send you to marketing. You work hard, but I support you with the same. You don't want to be on the team. You want to burn the team. And you want to do I said, what does that mean?
He tells me that every time he comes to me and says, I'm stubborn. I know I'm stubborn and I'm arrogant. I'm like, yes, you are. How is that working for you, Shannon?
He allowed me to call him out. I think it's hard. I think he trusts me.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he trusts me because I said, this is not this is a past. This is about thinking about what we're going to be every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, he has such a great personality and a caring heart. You know, he was closing over here the other day and he stuck his head and said, did you eat? I'm like, no. He's like, I'm going to Chick-fil-A, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? He came here and changed some of these lights. He has such a caring heart. He is good with people.
What you just told me what is promised. He's not coming. That's wrong. That's why I'm putting on the team. Maybe business. So most people.
Yes, because Connie struggled greatly when she came to me. After she left Kelly's team, you know, she struggled. Yeah, and she thanks me for getting her mindset. Yeah. You can leave it up when I was on the Zoom call. Yeah. Yeah. I know, right? After 4 kids, I still have a part of my brain left. After 4 kids, I still have a part of my brain left. Because the old joke is that the women, you know, a little quarter of your intelligence goes. So try not to have I blew through all of that. She's great. She's doing great. I have my moments, and then it's just, you know, I talk out, and then I'm great. I just had a long conversation with God this morning about just keep my focus, like, please keep me focused on you at all times. Yeah.
Last one was 2 years ago.
That's all.
You said I would at first for when time when that happens, I wouldn't think it was okay, wait a good time there.
Yeah.
That's one I walk out. This is still real. All of a sudden, the office. Like this is going on. After going in circle.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I said, get me away from detail. Yeah. I love what you told me.
Yeah. This is easy.
And I knew I let you do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's my reality. It's not yours, right? It's, yeah, it's my reality. Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
When I said, no, I want you to call second Jim. Now.
And I won't do that because
No, sometimes there's a it's like, okay, party, but you are stop it. So sometimes different but also gives you a chance to be here.
yeah, because sometimes you need to just chill and think and then come back.
And I thought this is Julianne and Julianne and Sherry, and by the way, this is you.
How quickly you just think about
It was just you, and also Sherry.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
but one thing we would love to her discussion monitoring us. It was the sweetest time. It has Marjorie on the sweetest time. But what surprised me was when I said to the whole group, over I said, two was first. Yeah, please.
That's why I come in because I can't stay home. You in the height of it, I never stayed home the whole week. If you notice, I would stay home on Tuesday, and then I was like, forget this. I would sneak in here and just be here. Yes, I mean, remember the part is covered and the other part is also covered but open. There's there's a fan. Yeah. Yes. I think the covered part of it has AC and the fan. And then when you step out to the patio. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you know what? I need to remind Melissa to send a TPA for Brenda. This office is crazy. Are you kidding me? It's so cold. All right. Ooh. All right. Oh, hot.